Alright, second movie in a row. Attack of the Clones. Now, full disclosure on this movie, I love this movie. It's kind of like my happy place, honestly. Like, obviously, the third movie is like my favorite, and I genuinely love that film, but it is kind of like sad, and to me, that's why I do like probably in recent times watch this film more because the third one's a bit, it's a bit sad, and I kind of also like to um, for like the really great films that I love, I like to give them some time. I don't like to over rewatch them. But this movie, it was a big thing for me in 2023. I used to watch this a lot when I was quite depressed, and I still love it. And I just watched it right now, like 30 minutes ago, finished. And yeah, let's talk about it. So, what I love about this film is it's like a neo-noir investigation. I love the investigation with Obi-Wan and finding out Kamino and Jango Fett and the secret of the Separatist movement and the secret of Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus. It's a really enjoyable film with some absolutely amazing music and scenes. But yeah, we start with an assassination attempt on Padme and the meeting of Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan with Padme, who they haven't seen in 10 years, and Anakin is immediately got the big horn on for her. He's very in love with her, and it's very easy to see why. And yeah, so sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here. So yeah, there's an assassination attempt in her apartment. They track down this killer to a bar, and the assassin is assassinated by Jango Fett, who you do not know yet, but they get the dart and they go to try to figure out where this dart is made and maybe trace its location. At this time, the Jedi Council instructs Obi-Wan to find the bounty hunter, while Anakin is tasked to protect Padme and escort her to Naboo. And Palpatine kind of sort of indirectly arranges this, clearly to push Anakin and Padme together and tempt Anakin to break his vows to the Jedi Order. So you have the beginnings of Palpatine in this movie as the mastermind of the Clone Wars, and the mastermind of Anakin's fall to the dark side. So, yeah, and in this film it establishes Anakin's arrogance and his sort of angst and all this stuff. It goes without saying the dialogue is not great, but the story is great, in my opinion. Anakin complains to Padme that, like, basically Obi-Wan is overly critical, and he would not recognize the many ways that Anakin's better than even him. And basically the relationship starts here. But she's kind of very resistant to let him flirt with her. And basically over this whole time, the specter of creating an army is looming overhead. This is the most political film of Star Wars, in my opinion. And, yeah. So, sorry. Obi-Wan's investigation takes him to a friend named Dex. A really ugly... Oh, yeah, one of the biggest problems with this movie, really ugly CGI and some sort of, like, very lazy direction. Like, there's some scenes where even freaking Jango Fett is CGI. All the clones are CGI, like, not just far away shots, but close up shots. It's pretty ridiculous, like how lazy some of George Lucas's direction is. You gotta love him, but I mean, the man is not a natural director, at least not in his later career. So yeah, Obi-Wan's investigation leads him to find Kamino, and this is one of my favorite scenes of all of Star Wars. I love the arrival and the whole plot on Kamino. Like, it's so cool. The secret planet that has been deleted by Count Dooku in the Jedi archives, and going there, and like they're all expecting him, and they're creating this secret army, and there's this dead Jedi master that's been impersonated who's ordering these troops. And then there's that great scene where Obi-Wan stands above, and there's this great song as he sees the tens of thousands of clones marching. It's really beautiful. Then he meets Jango Fett, and I absolutely love Jango Fett, and I don't understand how people can be like, "Ooh, Boba Fett is better." Boba Fett is really not even a character in the original films. At least Jango Fett is a character who actually like does stuff other than just follow orders. And yeah, he's a cool guy. And he transmits this information to Mace Windu and Yoda, telling him that, the Kaminoans are claiming that this army has been placed at the request of the Senate by Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, and they're like, no, this never happened, so it's clear that, we're being manipulated here. And also, it's clear that our powers of foresight have been diminished. And Mace Windu is like, we must inform the Senate of our powers. And Yoda wisely says, like, if we tell them we're weaker, our enemies will multiply. Only the Dark Lord of the Sith knows our weakness. And this, shows both the power and the coming hatred of the Jedi. The fact that they do rely on fear of their powers to keep, deterrence and their own power in check. For good cause, but Yoda wisely says, if the Senate deduces we're weak, they'll move against us. So, they're basically the fourth branch of government, but they're not entirely honest about their powers and stuff like that. So it's laying the seeds of why the Jedi were resented in the third movie and in the Clone Wars. At this point, Anakin is getting there's this great scene where he tracks them to Geonosis, and there's these bombs, and it's really cool, in the asteroid belt. Anakin is having visions of his mother Shmi dying, and this is also kind of another self-fulfilling prophecy where Anakin is so worried about losing people, and he does. And you wonder if, he's bringing it upon himself at all. I think he certainly does with his wife in the third movie. I think he does bring about his own doom through fear. But it's ambiguous. It could be that Palpatine is possessing her. I don't know. We'll talk about that in the next video. He meets with Watto and he tracks down his wife. I like that he met with Watto. That was pretty cool. Sorry, just yawning. And then he finds his mother, and she's dead. And in this scene, I do think they not only killed her, but I do think it's reasonable to think that she was actually raped. I think, because why else are they keeping her alive and tying her to a thing? So he goes on a crazy rampage and murders everybody. And he brings her body back home, and these scenes are actually directed really well. And basically, he confesses to Padme that he is really, really devastated that he couldn't save his mother, and that he thinks Obi-Wan is holding him back. And then he says, like, I murdered everybody. I killed them all, the women and the children too. And this causes Padme to pity him, and this is where their romance, like, probably really starts. And it's basically Padme finally gives in because of Anakin's vulnerability and his devastation. And some people, I've seen like retards on the internet comparing this to Rey and Kylo's romance, like she's romancing with him because he killed all those people on Starkiller Base. But comparing Starkiller Base to Anakin's killing of the Tusken Raiders, like, while a bad act, it is genuinely justified. I'm not saying the killing was justified, but his massive anger in that moment was 100% justified. And yes, it's against the Jedi Code, and yes, it's immoral, but 100% a woman that was interested in you and felt really bad for you that you lost your mother that was murdered, and that you like lost control of your emotions, like 100%, like a good woman would feel bad for you and like want to help you. And that's exactly what Padme does. And this is really Anakin's first foray into the dark side, but this is a killing with a lot of emotional justification behind it. His killings in the third movie are way more like cold-blooded and, political in nature and selfish. And this scenario, he just loses control for justifiable reasons. And then basically there's a transmission from Geonosis where Obi-Wan reveals that they're building a droid army, and I really like this part. And he gets captured and all that, and they go to rescue him, and there's the great scene. Anakin and Obi-Wan kiss, but they go out in the arena. There's a great scene where Mace Windu arrives, and he's like, this party's over. And yeah, it's a great action scene. The beheading of Jango Fett, which is a really awesome moment. And I like that it characterizes Mace as more of this like ruthless warrior compared to a lot of other Jedi. You have the giving of emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine, the creation of the clone army, and the epic saving of the Jedi hostages by Yoda and the clone army, who touched down on Geonosis, and the battle begins. You got a great battle. You have Obi-Wan and Anakin chasing Count Dooku, fighting him, and there's some amazing lines when Yoda comes after the defeat of Obi-Wan and Anakin, the cutting off of Anakin's hand. You have the former master and the former apprentice dueling each other. But before that, you've got Count Dooku says, "It is clear this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills in the lightsaber." That was a really shitty attempt. It is clear this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our knowledge of the lightsaber. And they fight, and it's cool. And yeah, he escapes, and he goes back to Coruscant, and this is another one of my favorite scenes where he's like, the war has begun. And then Darth Sidious is like, excellent. You have done well, Darth Tyrannus. And that's when you reveal that he is Tyrannus, and he's been talking to Jango Fett and orchestrating the creation of the clone army. And yeah, the film ends with the marriage of Anakin and Padme. And also the awesome scene as the clones ship out to the new civil war that Palpatine has manipulated / Sidious, and he stands over the army triumphant, the first domino in the seizure of power of Palpatine. I have a really interesting video idea. It's like analyzing the politics of Palpatine. Because if you take Palpatine as a actual politician and not a Sith Lord, and you don't know that he's orchestrating all this, like, he is a great leader. Like, think about it. He inherits an absolute mess. He inherits a growing separatist crisis. He inherits a corrupt country. He inherits a country on the brink of collapse. They can't defend themselves. And then in the span of a few short years, he creates an army, wins great victories, controls corruption, and then wins in a very powerful way, but then is attacked by the Jedi, overthrows the Jedi, and then he brings stability, according to, if you don't believe, he's a Sith, and he's controlling everything. So I want to do a video on that, because it's an interesting dichotomy. But anyway, back to this movie. Yeah, I really like the ending where, victory, you say? No victory. The shroud of the dark side has fallen. Begun, the Clone War has. And then the marriage of Anakin and Padme, who are very cute together. They're absolutely amazing. And she's an absolute beauty in this film. I think she's prettiest in this film by far. My favorite look she has is on Tatooine with the metal bit in her hair. I really like that. And then Anakin in this movie is, just perfectly developed despite the flaws in the dialogue, which go without saying. And the other big flaw with this movie is the hideous CGI at points, and just overuse of CGI. But yeah, overall, a great story that I really enjoy. And I love this film, and like I said, it's one of my happy place films. I really love it. Thank you for watching, guys. I gotta go to bed. Saucy Boy out.